I realized I never kind of came back to, have I buried the hatchet with NVIDIA? Someone asked, have I resolved things with Jensen? I haven't talked to Jensen in many years. I think the last time I talked to Jensen was just to like introduce myself at an event or something like that. Like I've never really spoken with him at length or anything. Um, but I definitely had some issues with our previous NVIDIA rep who simply revealed to me, regardless of the apology that went out to Hardware Unboxed afterward, revealed to me through his actions that he didn't respect media, didn't properly understand our role in keeping NVIDIA accountable, felt that we were simply part of NVIDIA's marketing apparatus. And at that point, I just, I never apologized for anything that I said. I think maybe an apology was expected, but I wasn't going to apologize because at the end of the day, I didn't say anything that was wrong. And, it was my team, my group, my media community that was disrespected. I don't owe you an apology for calling you out for being disrespectful. Like, that's actually not how that works. And that particular rep is no longer with the company. So that they are retired now. And I met my new rep. So they started just a few weeks ago, I think. So before you jump in with conspiracy theories about how we're, that's why our video was, more balanced for the 4060 or whatever. No, that's just how we're going to make videos, where we want to look at everything. We want to look at it shine a light on it from every angle. So this is my first time meeting them, but they basically came in and were like, "Hey, I wanna have a fresh start here." And I kind of went, "That's nice." It was a tough meeting. It wasn't, all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some old wounds to deal with there.
Yeah, there's been. This is why it's always so funny to me to be told that I'm some kind of NVIDIA shill. I like good products. And so that's not a bias.
Yeah.
That's not being a fanboy.
Yeah.
That's just evaluating things and then seeing how they are and forming an opinion. That's not bias. If something is good and you think it's good, that's just fact, right? Like that's, and again, though, back to what we said before, my fact is not necessarily your fact, right? If I love this product for gaming and you use some kind of professional software and they've had this bug for 3 years that completely ruins your life and you need to use something else, that's your life, right? Like that's your perspective, and that's totally valid, right? But for me, it doesn't make me a fan to say this is a good product that works really well. It's expensive, but you got to give it to them. It works really well. Where was I going with this? I totally can't remember because my brain is bad. Right. Yeah, I always get a kick out of it when people think I'm some kind of NVIDIA shill. NVIDIA has done so little sponsored and paid work with us over the years that I don't even think they would register as like how many decimal places would we have to get to? So you've got percentages of our total overall income, and then you've got like a decimal of a percentage. I don't even think they'd be at 1 decimal. I think they'd be at 2. Like they are functionally.
Like most years there's nothing.
Yeah, they've only worked with us like twice.
Yeah, like actually.
Like functionally negligible.
Yeah.
And which made it particularly funny to me when I heard through the grapevine back after the Hardware Unboxed thing that NVIDIA was putting pressure on their partners that they give marketing funds to not spend those funds with us. Because even accounting for pass-through, it's like negligible, like not a non-factor. So they tried to put this, allegedly tried to put this, I heard from two sources though, they tried to put this financial pressure on us after the Hardware Unboxed thing. That's another thing, is like they apologized to Hardware Unboxed. I never got an apology for that. So there's been some. I am not a fan of NVIDIA and the way that they do business. And so I made that very clear. I made that extremely clear to our new rep that this relationship is not going to be repaired by coming in and saying, you know, it'd be great, a fresh start. Yeah, sure. I guess that would be great. But you're going to have to figure this out, because as far as I can tell, a lot of NVIDIA's behaviors are not as simple as one rep going rogue, disrespecting the media, and engaging in these mafia thug business tactics. I've seen NVIDIA engage with their manufacturing partners in the same way, their board partners. I've seen NVIDIA engage with their retail partners in the same way. NVIDIA is a cutthroat company. They are competitive. They compete. And maybe that's a big part of the reason they win so much. But that doesn't mean that they can't be respectful while they're competing. That doesn't mean they can't share some of the spoils of war. You know, we saw the way that they've squeezed margins for their board partners, for example, over the years. And so I basically said, look, I think that realistically, a lot of the problems I have with NVIDIA are not as simple as a fresh start. I appreciate anything that you think that you can do. And what I can tell you is I will have an open mind. You know, I will try to have a fresh start, but you're going to have to understand that there's going to be more to this than just the way that you treat me, right? I love this saying or expression or whatever it is, where, you know, a man that's kind to you and rude to a waiter is a rude man, right? And I experienced that a lot. Being a prominent creator in the tech community, it is pretty easy for me to get prompt service on something, which is a big part of the reason that we do Secret Shopper, which is a big part of the reason that we are introducing our Secret Shopping Our Sponsors series, which is going to be kicking off very soon. I believe all of the background has been done, but the person who's working on that has other projects. So it's taking some time to get everything compiled and turn it into a script. But I'm really, really excited to bring that series to you guys, because we want to know, like, are we just getting good treatment because NVIDIA wants to project being a nice guy through their treatment of us and turn us into fans? It's something we've always got to watch out for. And, you know, maybe I'm jaded and cynical. Maybe I'm just experienced. Sometimes I can't tell the difference, but it's the kind of thing that brands do. They do it all the time. And
that's just being realistic.
And it was funny because there was another classic brand move that got pulled on this trip that I was a little frustrated with one of our team members for not being aware of. And then I talked to them yesterday, and basically, like, I had said some pretty direct words previously, and I don't take any of them back. You know, you know who you are. You had to hear it. I want you to learn. I want you to get more experienced. I want you to do better, because
like sandwiched a little better though.
Yeah, but I could have done a better job of the poop sandwich. But, you know, these are important life skills, regardless of whether you're going to work here forever or you're going to work somewhere else. You got to learn these things. You got to take these with you. And so I'm glad I told you, but I could have been a bit nicer about it. But basically, what I said is, like, look, brands have their agenda. You have your agenda, and you've got to keep these things separate. You've got to understand you don't work for them, and they are going to use every possible trick in the book to manipulate you into doing what they want. And in this case, it was a sponsored project that was supposed to happen while we were here. Actually, it was a couple things, but the one that started it was the sponsored project that was supposed to happen here with a big board maker, where I wanted to see a GPU manufacturing line. And I basically said, sponsorship deal or no sponsorship deal, I'm not going unless we're seeing a GPU manufacturing line. I want to see a GPU go start to finish, and then I want to power it on, kind of like what we did at the Micron factory. And in the lead up to the show, I kept being told, okay, yeah, we haven't confirmed exactly what it's going to be. We haven't confirmed yet. And I'm like, you need to get this confirmed. You have to get this confirmed. We are flying 11 hours around the world or whatever it is. And you got to get this confirmed before we go. And I can see why it might not have seemed that urgent, because we were going to Computex anyway.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're negotiating something, the more things you leave until the moment when you arrive, the more potential there is for what happened next, which is that on the day we were supposed to go and shoot this video, we were contacted in the morning and told, hey, we can't make the GPU manufacturing line work. But what we do have is a new model of GPU that you can show, and some cases, and some upcoming...
all like extremely basic level, boring Computex content.
Yeah.
The like normal Computex content.
So yeah, the sponsor deal is still on, but it's going to be this. And I kind of went, okay, I made this really clear. When I said before the show that the sponsorship deal is not on unless we are bringing content about GPU manufacturing to the people, I meant it. It's not negotiable. It's not a conversation. I don't want to be talking about this right now because I already told you. And the thing is, like, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but I am beholden to my boss. And I don't mean our incoming CEO. I mean you guys. You guys are the boss. If I upload crap, you guys are going to downvote it, or worse, you're going to not watch it.
Yeah.
And then we talked about, exponential channel decay. That's going to happen. It's a fight for survival every day. If I bring you guys, regardless of sponsorship dollars, right? Like that's what that's what ultimately I have to do. If I want to get sponsorship dollars, I have to find a way to cram those into a project that is entertaining enough for you guys that you want to watch it regardless of that, right? So, I will sometimes take a project that I would just love to do. Like I would just love to see the Micron factory tour. That's actually a great example. I would have wanted to go regardless of the money, but I'll hold out. I'll basically go, no, it's got to be paid. Because realistically, for something like that, they're gonna need a whole bunch of like NDA like type of privacy,
tons of reviews.
Yeah, privacy control over it anyway. So if they're gonna expect all of that, then I'm sitting here going, well, then yeah, then you pay the sponsorship dollar, or I'm not going. Even though I'm sitting there going, please, I really want to go, please do it, right? So that's what happened with this board maker. Is I basically went, look, I told you we're not going because my boss says that's not interesting enough. So we aren't going unless this is happening. And I think everyone was sort of taken aback, including the person on my team who kind of went, oh, when I said, okay, well, we're not going then. We're going to go shoot something else. And we ended up going to the Gigabyte booth where we shot that cool Grace Super Chip video. That was a lot of fun. And later on in the week, we made another attempt at it. And whether it was a miscommunication or whether it was another effort to just get us on site so they could get us to talk about something else again, we arrived and it wasn't a manufacturing line or even a prototyping line, which was what I thought we were going to see. I thought we were going to see a prototyping line. It was just like some PCBs and some finished GPUs and
a soldering iron, which is not how they do it. Which is
not how they build GPUs at all.
Yeah.
And so we shot a quick short for one of the channels, and we just like left. And maybe it was a miscommunication. Maybe it was maybe they just wanted to get us in there to talk about this other stuff they wanted to talk about. I'm not sure, but it was a really valuable learning experience, I think, for the way that brands will try to get you close or get you in the door, and then once you're already there, kind of go, oh well, sunk cost fallacy. You might as well talk about this other thing because to be ashamed.
Experienced it a bunch. Even when you do have a really solid agreement, it's often attempted.
Yep. Yeah, we had an issue with a case manufacturer this year where we wanted to do something cool with one of their products. And they were showing it at this one location, but we wanted to do something at the other location. And they didn't want to give us the one that was at the one location for some reason. And they basically made us borrowing it contingent on going to their party, their event. And I was like, okay, I'll go, but I can't stay long because I have a commitment. I'm playing badminton tonight. And I'm only going to go if there's food because, and I'm not trying to be a diva about it, but I am on my way out the door to get food before I go exercise. I cannot go to exercise before I've eaten. So I can't go to your event unless there's food there. I arrived. There was no food. There was like a dozen of the last hors d'oeuvre that nobody wanted left. And there was, and immediately they started trying to brief me on their like product that I didn't come there to talk about. And then what's even worse is before we got a chance to do anything with the thing we borrowed, they asked for it back. And one of our team members went full just like errand person for them and like brought it back to them when we would have been going the next morning anyway. And I was like, so that was again, you know, like, hey, these are the moves brands pull. They try and make you their beta, and you can't be there for that. It's the answer is no. And it's not about being a jerk. It's about standing your ground. Right. And I don't know, maybe it's just like, is it like a Canadian cultural thing? Just like wanting to be a people pleaser. Did I used to be more like that? Have I just gotten, oh, well, okay then.
I think back in the day, the video would have been made, but I think for different reasons. Yeah. I think back in the day, we valued volume very highly.
Yeah.
So we would just get a lot of content out all the time. So like,
it's always kind of funny to me when people talk about how much better our content used to be when we used to focus on 60 quality
videos from a show.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, sure, dude.
We upload less now than ever.
We used to have a thing at CES where you had 30 minutes per appointment, and that included travel time.
Yeah.
Which could be switching hotels.
Yeah.
Like there was not time for quality, my dude.
Yeah, man. Looking back at old videos, like there were certainly some fun and funny, just dragon energy things that happened, but I don't know if quality is the right word to describe anything that we used to do compared to what we do today.
Yeah.